This is NBC 10 News at 6.
The feds make their case against former TV anchorman Larry Mendte. A criminal charge has now been filed. Mendte is accused of snooping through his co-anchor's email. Investigators say Mente's prying eyes were also working overtime. Good evening, everyone. I'm Tim Lake. Now, Mendte has already lost his job with CBS 3 in Philadelphia. And if convicted on this one charge, Mendte faces a possible sentence of up to 5 years in prison. But in a plea bargain, the sentencing guidelines call for much less time. NBC 10's Harry Hairston is live in Center City now with more details from the federal investigation. Harry.
Well, Tim, according to this federal document I have in my hand, it paints a picture of a man who may have been obsessed with tapping into his co-worker's email account. Now, just this year alone, according to this document, it alleges that Larry Mendte tapped into Alicia Lane's email accounts from January 1st of this year, almost every single day until May 28th.
Is controversial.
Former CBS 3 news anchor Larry Mendte, seen here hosting last year's Philadelphia mayoral debate, is now awaiting his fate. Federal prosecutors charged Mendte with a count of intentionally accessing a protected computer without authorization. Prosecutors say Mendte hacked into former co-anchor Alicia Lane's emails over a 2-year period.
This case is no different than someone stealing your locked briefcase with confidential attorney-client information, prying it open, and helping themselves to the contents.
Federal prosecutors say Mendte hacked into Lane's emails dozens of times a day. Prosecutors allege Mendte used computers from his home, his office at CBS 3, and even his vacation home.
The defendant accessed the emails, downloaded them, and as the information alleges, he repeatedly leaked them to a newspaper reporter.
The federal documents also reveal allegations that Mendte leaked emails that were between Lane and her attorney about an ongoing criminal case she was facing in New York earlier this year.
We allege that the defendant leaked that information in an attempt to undermine his former colleague's ongoing legal cases.
Mente's attorney released a statement reading, "The information that was filed today should not come as a surprise to anyone. As we have said since day one, Larry has been cooperating fully with the investigation." The feds say Mendte first accessed Lane's emails back in March of 2006, but the feds only detailed the number of incidents from this year.
The defendant here is charged with a systematic pattern of intrusion that included not a dozen incidents, not 100 incidents, but hundreds of incidents, more than 500 separate intrusions into the email accounts.
Now, we should point out that Mendte did work for NBC 10 prior to going to CBS 3. Now, I did talk to Mente's attorney. He says that his client is expected to take a guilty plea, and he also expects that his client will get probation. However, he could be sentenced to 0 to 6 months in a federal jail. Now, Lane's attorney, he told me this afternoon that he feels that Mendte destroyed his client's career and that Mendte should see some jail time. Reporting live from Center City, Harry Hairston, NBC 10 News.
All right, Harry, thank you. By the way, to read more details about the charges against Mendte, just go to our website on NBC10.com. Well, now we are on day 6 of a heat wave in the Philadelphia region. The hot weather is most of us heading for the shade or the shore, but these kids are out on the courts today at the Arthur Ashe Youth Tennis Center in East Falls. We have live team coverage of this blistering heat wave tonight. NBC 10 Chief Meteorologist Glenn Schwartz is in the Earthwatch Weather Center. And Ted Greenberg is live down the shore where it's been hot and then cool and on and off all day. So let's start with Glenn tonight. Glenn?
The 6th day in a row with temperatures into the 90s, but at least it wasn't as hot as it was the previous 4 days when we were in the mid-90s, the peak of this heat wave Friday.
All right, Glenn, thank you. By the way, depending on the hour of the day, you can get some relief from the sizzling summer heat by heading down the shore. NBC 10 Jersey Shore Bureau reporter Ted Greenberg is live in Ventnor now. And what's this about heat 1 hour and a little bit cooler the next hour, Ted?
Yeah, it's really been changing off and on, Tim, throughout the day. It really depends on which way the wind is blowing. We've had temperatures here in the Atlantic City area, Ventnor, where I am, fluctuating between the 70s and 80s today. Cooler when the wind is blowing off the ocean, warmer when we have a land breeze. And for some folks, there was no better place than the beach today to get away from the extreme heat. like
this morning was very, very hot. You couldn't even breathe when you went outside.
So it wasn't a tough decision for Emma Palumbo and her husband to leave South Philly this morning and head straight to Ventnor for the day.
Very nice, very nice.
Okay. Live in Ventnor, I'm Ted Greenberg, NBC 10 News.
Thank you, Ted. And as a reminder, we want to tell you that the Philadelphia Corporation for Aging has activated its heat line. It's up and running till midnight. Here's the number now. Any senior citizen who needs help in the heat, 215-765-9040. Again, 215-765-9040. And there are a lot more emergency heat numbers for counties all around the area. Just go to NBC10.com and look under news links. There is a developing story today. A suspected murderer trades bullets with Philadelphia police in broad daylight today. NBC 10's Mike Strug is live now on the scene in Southwest Philadelphia with more details on what happened here. Mike?
Well, Tim, this incident began to unfold around 2:30 this afternoon when police got a call that a man wanted a suspect in a murder was spotted near here around 64th and Greenway. Police arrived, there was a confrontation, and bullets began to fly, dozens of them, including a couple that smashed through this door.
We're just very, very fortunate that we don't have a police officer shot. This is an individual who
at the hospital of the University of Pennsylvania. Meanwhile, they continue to investigate whether, in fact, he was wanted for a murder, as that first caller said. But a police source does tell us that he had served 30 years in prison for a previous murder. Live in Southwest Philadelphia, I'm Mike Strug, NBC 10 News.
New at 6 tonight, an angry mob attacks 4 people at a Penn's Landing parking lot. It's a lot with signs which say secure and also patrolled by security. Now, one victim is so badly hurt, he's in intensive care tonight. NBC 10's Deanna Durante is live at Central Detectives in Philadelphia with the latest on this story. Deanna.
Tim, a Bucks County man is in critical condition. Investigators say 3 men pounced on him, beating him unconscious. Now his mother is asking for your help to find the suspected attackers.
It's probably the worst phone call of my life. 2 o'clock in the morning, getting a call that your son was beat up and he's at a city hospital.
Kathy, who doesn't want her last name used, says when she got the and black T-shirts, if you were in the area of the Vine Street parking lot right off of Columbus Boulevard early yesterday morning, Philadelphia Police, the Central Detective Division, want to hear from you. You need to call 215-686-3047. Reporting live at Central Detectives, Deanna Durante, NBC 10 News.
All right, thank you, Deanna. I-95 southbound is reopened tonight in Delaware after 2 separate accidents in the same area this morning. First, 4 cars crashed at Churchman's Marsh in Newark, Delaware. 1 person was treated and released at that scene. And then a tractor-trailer jackknifed nearby in a crash with 3 other cars. 4 people suffered minor injuries there. And look at this now. An underground fire disrupts the trolley service in West Philadelphia today. Chopper 10 over the scene at about 10 this morning at 40th and Baltimore. Several trolley passengers were treated for minor injuries. SEPTA blames the incident on some fallen wires. Regular trolley service resumed just before noon today. And now an update on rush hour traffic. How are things moving out there tonight, John?
All right, Tim. Well, believe it or not, for a Monday afternoon, things are moving along pretty nicely out there. We had an earlier crash southbound along 202, and there was a delay. The accident just cleared moments ago, and so involving an overturned tractor trailer. And at this point, police are saying that they're going to shut down the ramp later on tonight after the PM rush. So keep that in mind as you make your way out the door later on this evening. That's it for now. I'm John Ogden for NBC 10 News.
All right, thank you, John. Well, enough is enough. That's what some people are saying in one community about their neighbors' lawn ornaments.
I'll bet you've never seen a front yard like this. Is it nice or is it a nuisance? I'm John Blunt in Paulsboro. The story coming up on NBC 10 News.
And when's this blistering heat going to come to an end? I'll tell you, plus the 7-day forecast coming up next.